Here's something most people get backward. Everyone knows to cut back on salt for blood pressure. But almost nobody talks about the other half of that equation, potassium, the mineral that actually helps your body balance out sodium in the first place. Most people think of a banana and stop there, never realizing dozens of traditional drinks around the world were built specifically around foods far richer in potassium than that one familiar fruit. Stick around because number 7 on this list is something most people pour down the drain without a second thought. And number 18 is made from a pantry staple most people only think of as a snack, never as a drink. By the end of this list, you'll have 20 real options that go far beyond the banana. Number 1, carrot juice. The root vegetable Eastern European households have pressed fresh for generations. Carrots have been juiced across Central and Eastern Europe for well over a century, traditionally pressed fresh each morning rather than stored, since the juice loses some of its brightness quickly after pressing. A single glass delivers a meaningful dose of potassium alongside beta-carotene, and traditional preparation simply presses raw carrots, sometimes with a small piece of ginger for warmth. Number 2, papaya juice. The tropical fruit Central American households drink fresh daily. Papaya has been grown and juiced across Central America and the Caribbean for centuries, valued both for its sweetness and its digestive enzyme, papain. Blend ripe papaya flesh with a small amount of water and strain if a smoother texture is preferred, drinking it fresh since the fruit doesn't keep well once cut. Number 3, mango lassi, the yogurt drink that turns Indian summers cool. This sweet, thick yogurt drink has been a staple across Indian households for generations, specifically popular during the hottest months when a cooling, filling drink was needed most. Blend ripe mango with yogurt and a touch of water until smooth, and the yogurt itself contributes its own separate mineral content alongside the fruit. Number 4, passion fruit juice. The tart pulp South American households have scooped straight from the shell for generations. Passion fruit vines have grown across Brazil and much of South America for centuries. The tart, seed-filled pulp, traditionally scooped directly from the wrinkled shell and strained into juice. A little sugar and water balances its intense tartness, and the straining step removes the crunchy seeds most people prefer not to drink. Number 5, Swiss chard green juice, the leafy green most people only think to cook. While Swiss chard is usually sautéed, some Mediterranean households have a separate tradition of juicing the raw leaves, often blended with a little apple or lemon to soften its earthy, mineral-rich flavor. This delivers the vegetable's potassium in a fast, concentrated form without needing to cook a full serving. But the next entry is something most people have quietly walked past their entire life, without ever considering as a drink at all. Number 6, kiwi juice, the fuzzy fruit New Zealand and China both claim as their own. Originally native to China before New Zealand growers popularized it worldwide, kiwi has been blended into juice across both regions for generations. Simply blend peeled kiwi with a small amount of water and strain out the tiny black seeds if a smoother texture is preferred. Number 7, potato water, the liquid most kitchens pour straight down the sink. This is the drink I promised you at the start. European farmhouse kitchens traditionally saved the water left over from boiling potatoes, understanding that many of the potatoes' minerals leach directly into that liquid during cooking. Simply reserve the cooking water, let it cool, and drink it plain or use it as a base for soup, since much of the potassium the potato itself carries ends up dissolved right there. Number 8, prune juice, the dried fruits drink form, distinct from eating it whole. While whole prunes have their own long tradition, prune juice specifically has been a household staple across Europe for generations, made by simmering dried plums in water and straining the liquid. It delivers a concentrated dose of the fruit's potassium in liquid form, traditionally taken in small amounts each morning. Number 9, banana milk, the sweet dairy drink Korean households have kept in the refrigerator for decades. Banana milk has been a beloved staple in Korean households and convenience stores since the 1970s, blended fresh at home long before it became a commercial product. Blend a ripe banana with cold milk until smooth, and the banana's well-known potassium content arrives alongside the dairy's own mineral contribution. Number 10, cantaloupe juice, the sweet melon Middle Eastern and Mediterranean households blend each summer. Cantaloupe has been grown and juiced across the Middle East and Mediterranean for centuries, prized during summer months for both its sweetness and its high water content. Blend ripe cantaloupe flesh with a small splash of water and strain for a smoother texture, best enjoyed the same day it's made. Number 11, butternut squash smoothie. the autumn vegetable blended into an unexpected drink. Roasted butternut squash has anchored autumn cooking across North America and Europe for generations, but blending the cooked flesh into a smoothie with milk and a little cinnamon turns it into something few people think to try. The squash delivers meaningful potassium alongside a naturally sweet, creamy texture. Number 12. Guava juice, the fruit that outperforms citrus in more ways than one. Guava has been juiced across Southeast Asia and Latin America for generations, traditionally blended fresh and strained to remove its many small seeds. Beyond its well-known vitamin C content, guava carries a genuinely meaningful potassium load, delivered in a naturally sweet, pink-tinted juice. Number 13. Watermelon rind juice, the part of the fruit most people throw straight in the trash. While watermelon flesh gets all the attention, some traditional Southeast Asian and African households specifically juice the white rind, blending it with a little lime and mint to balance its milder flavor. The rind itself carries its own separate mineral contribution that most people never think to use. Number 14. Papaya leaf juice, the bitter tonic Southeast Asian households turn to during illness. Distinct from the sweet fruit juice, papaya leaves have a long separate tradition across the Philippines and Southeast Asia, traditionally pounded and strained into an intensely bitter tonic used during recovery from illness. It's typically taken in small shot glass amounts rather than a full glass, given its strong flavor. Number 15. Apricot nectar, the thick, sweet drink Middle Eastern households serve during Ramadan. Apricot nectar has been a traditional Ramadan drink across the Middle East for generations, made by simmering dried or fresh apricots down into a thick puree and thinning it with water. Its natural sweetness and mineral content made it a favored way to break a long day of fasting. Number 16. Coconut milk, the rich, creamy liquid distinct from coconut water. Pressed from the grated flesh of a mature coconut rather than the clear liquid found in a young green coconut, coconut milk has anchored Southeast Asian and South Indian cooking for centuries. Traditionally simmered gently rather than boiled hard, it carries its own separate mineral profile, distinct from coconut water's lighter composition. Number 17. Plantain drink, the cooked fruit West African and Caribbean households blend into a thick, filling drink. Unlike sweet bananas, plantains are traditionally boiled or roasted before blending, since they're starchy rather than sweet in their raw state. West African and Caribbean households have made this thick, filling drink for generations, often with a little nutmeg or vanilla stirred in. Number 18. Raisin water, the pantry staple soaked overnight into a simple tonic. This is the drink I promised you earlier. South Asian households have soaked raisins in water overnight for generations, straining the liquid the next morning into a mild, naturally sweet tonic traditionally taken on an empty stomach. The soaked raisins themselves are often eaten afterward, nothing wasted. Number 19. Date milk, the Middle Eastern breakfast drink blended smooth and simple. Dates blended with warm milk have been a traditional breakfast across the Middle East for generations, especially popular during Ramadan mornings before a full day of fasting begins. Simply blend pitted dates with warm milk until completely smooth, letting the dates soften first if needed. Number 20. Pear juice, the gentle fruit European households often start infants on. And here it is, the juice that closes out this list. Pear juice has been pressed across European orchards for centuries, valued for its mild, easily tolerated flavor that made it one of the first fruit juices many households introduced to babies and the elderly alike. Simply press or blend ripe pears and strain for a smooth, gently sweet finish. Fresh fruit juices like papaya, guava, and kiwi for quick daily potassium, dairy blends like mango lassi and banana milk for something more filling, and overlooked scraps like potato water and watermelon rind for the parts most people throw away. If you have kidney disease or take blood pressure medication that affects potassium levels, talk to your doctor before increasing your intake, since too much can be just as risky as too little.